guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another crockpot dump and go video for you, and this one is going to be recipes that are all 5 ingredients or less. So if you're looking for some really quick and easy dump and go crockpot recipes, I've definitely got you covered in today's video. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, I just want to say welcome. My name is Caitlin. I do a lot of really quick and easy recipes on my channel, tons of crockpot videos, meal prep, and other food related content. So definitely make sure you're subscribed, and let's go ahead and get into all of these crockpot recipes. For this first dinner, I'm making some crockpot ranch chicken pasta. You could also serve this chicken over rice or potatoes. Either would work just fine, but I'm starting off by spraying my crockpot with a little bit of oil, and then I'm adding in 2 chicken breasts. Mine were frozen. You can use fresh or frozen here. And then to make up the sauce, I'm adding in 1 can of cream of chicken and 1 can of cream of mushroom. Now you can really swap out these soups for any type of cream of soup, cream of celery, cream of mushroom, cream of chicken. Any of them would work just fine for this recipe. And then to keep the seasonings really simple, I'm just adding in 1 packet of ranch seasoning mix. This is the Hidden Valley one, but I usually will just get the Great Value one, and it seems to work just as good. I just had this one on hand because it was a substitution, but I'm just giving all of that a really good mix together. And then I am going to be adding in some cream cheese on top. I would say I added about 1/3 of a cup. I just added some little dollops on top, and you're going to let this cook on high for about 4 hours until your chicken is fully cooked through. You do want to make sure to temp your chicken once it's done, and then you can go ahead and shred it up. Once my chicken has fully cooked through, I'm just taking my hand mixer and I'm going to shred all of this up. If you've never tried out this tip before, it is so nice, especially if you want a really finely shredded chicken like I wanted in this recipe. So once I have all of that shredded up, I'm going to be adding in a full box of cooked rotini noodles. I did go ahead and cook them on my stove beforehand, and then I'm just mixing them in here. You could definitely add rice instead, or you could just serve this chicken over some mashed potatoes, but this was such an easy dinner, perfect for a weeknight when you're really busy and you don't want to sleep over the stove. This is a really great dinner idea. For this next dinner, I'm making some beef stroganoff. This is one of my favorites and super easy and very minimal ingredients. So again, I'm just starting off by spraying my slow cooker so nothing sticks. And then I'm adding in 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup. Any brand will work here, no need to be particular. I'm also adding in a 4-ounce can of some sliced mushrooms. This added a really good texture and we really loved that. And then I'm also adding in a packet of this onion seasoning mix. This is like the Lipton soup packets that you can get in the seasoning section. And then I'm just giving this a good stir together before adding in my meat. For the meat in this recipe, I chose to use some ground beef just because we have so much of it on hand since we recently bought a quarter of a cow, but you could also use a pound of stew meat. So either cook up a pound of ground beef, or you can just add your stew meat right into the crock pot raw. You don't have to pre-cook that. So here I am adding that ground beef in there. Mine was very lean, so I didn't need to drain off any fat or anything, but I'm just adding that in there and giving it a good mix together. I only had to cook mine on high for about 3 hours. At around the 2-hour mark, I did add about 1/2 cup of water. I just felt like it was a little bit thicker than I wanted it to be, so I wanted to thin it out a little bit. You could definitely add broth here as well, but I thought about 1/2 cup of water seemed about right. I let it cook for another hour. After it was completely done cooking, I went ahead and added in about 1/2 cup of some sour cream, and I'm just stirring that in there. This is gonna make it super and creamy and delicious, just like you want a beef stroganoff to be. On this night, I chose to serve ours over some brown rice, but it's also really good over egg noodles or any other type of pasta, or even over mashed potatoes would be delicious. This is definitely a must-try recipe. For this next recipe, I'm making some cracked chicken sandwiches. Now this is a family favorite recipe that I have been making for years, so if you've never tried this one out, I definitely recommend giving it a try. Our whole family loves this one. So I sprayed my crock pot with some oil, and then I'm adding in my 3 chicken breasts. So here are 3 large chicken breasts. You can use fresh or frozen, either will work just fine for this recipe. And then I'm going to be adding in some ranch seasoning mix. Now I chose to not add the full packet. Sometimes I find that if I add the full packet in there, it will be a little bit too salty. So I will usually add closer to like 3/4 of a packet, and I find that that's about right. And then I'm just adding a block of cream cheese on top, and I'm gonna let this cook on high for about 4 hours. Once the chicken is completely done cooking, again, I'm just taking that hand mixer and I'm shredding the chicken up. You can choose to cook up your own bacon if you want to, but I will usually just add in a package of the real bacon bits. It's just this small package. And then I also add in about a cup of some shredded cheese. Give this all a good mix together, and then I'll let it cook for about another 10 minutes or so just on low, basically just to get all of that cheese melted in there. I don't cook it for too long though, because I want to make sure that bacon stays really nice and crispy. Now if you've never tried this recipe, I highly recommend it. It's definitely a family favorite and super easy to throw together. Next up, we're gonna make a Mississippi pot roast. Now this might be one that you've heard of before, but it's really good. Definitely one of my husband's favorites. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. So on this particular day, I was using probably about a 3-pound roast. You can do this up to 5 pounds or 6 pounds if you want to. And then I'm gonna be adding in some au jus gravy mix as well as the ranch seasoning. So since I have a smaller roast on this particular day, I did not use the full packets. Otherwise, I always think it's too salty and too spicy. So I used probably close to about half of the packet of each one, but if you have a larger roast, go ahead and use the full packet, or you may just find that you like it a little bit more salty as well. I just tend to prefer a little bit less. And then I'm going to add in some pepperoncini peppers on top. I think I added about 4 or 5. You can also add a little splash of juice in there if you want to. A lot of people do that. You're going to pop on half a stick of butter, and then I cook this on low for about 8 hours, and this turns out absolutely delicious. I just shred it up. I served ours over mashed potatoes on this night, or you can also serve it over rice if you want. Either is super delicious for this recipe. For this next dinner, I'm making a super easy chicken Alfredo. Now this is a very basic chicken Alfredo recipe, but it's very easy to throw together in your crock pot. So I love making this one all the time. So I'm starting off by adding in my chicken. This is just 1 frozen chicken breast. If you have a larger family, you can definitely add in 2 chicken breasts with 2 jars of Alfredo sauce and double the recipe. But I just did 1 chicken breast with 1 jar of Alfredo sauce. I did add in a little bit of water to my jar, probably about a 1/3 cup of water. Shake it around and get the last little bit of sauce out, and it also kind of helps thin out your sauce so it doesn't get too thick in the crock pot. And then I'm adding in probably about half of a teaspoon to a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. I'm just eyeballing it. You guys know I like to eyeball stuff in my kitchen, so I'm just adding a little bit of that in there. I added in just a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. I don't add in a ton because I can always add in more at the end of this dinner. But then I'm just gonna cook this on high for about 4 hours until the chicken is fully cooked through. Once it's done cooking, I just shredded it up with my hand mixer. This is what it looked like. And then I'm serving it over some linguine noodles, or you can use fettuccine or whatever pasta you prefer. But this is such a quick dinner idea. Well, that is going to wrap up this dump and go crockpot video. I really hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you are not already. I would love to have you over on my channel. I share a lot of really quick and easy recipes, crockpot dinners, and other food related content. So definitely make sure you're subscribed, and I will catch you all in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
As a young girl, it feels we're mine. We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows among the pines. So offshore, playful and free.